doing it.
What's up, this is day number 12 posting a podcast every single day. So let's continue.
It was my first love, the first thing I ever liked, like really got obsessed with. And over probably the last, however many years, I still obviously trained. I was still, in shape, but my training was, sometimes 2 days a week, sometimes 3 days a week. It would be, 60 minutes, maybe 90 if I got lucky. And I had this realization, it was during this year, 2025, where I was like, I have all this fucking money and I can do whatever I want. And I was like, and I can't even have my workout be as long as I want it to be. And so I basically made a rule for myself that I will not work out if I am rushed. That's the deal. And so I will work out for as long as it takes to work out. And that's that. And so that means that if my workout takes 2 hours or takes 2.5 hours, or I'm with a friend and it takes 3 hours because we're just like talking between sets and having a great time, there are 3 things in this world that bring me joy. Working out with somebody that I like, eating food with somebody that I like, ideally after I worked out, and writing. The 3 things that bring me the most joy in life. And I was like, why am I
For me, the things that bring me most joy is journaling, which is writing, making content, making Twitter posts, making this kind of content, just whatever kind of content to make me feel content. Because I'd rather be content than have a lot of stuff in my mind, because I have a lot of stuff in my mind, then that means I'm going to go ape shit, I'm going to lose my shit, who knows, but yeah.
Facing one of the only 3 things in this world that I know that I enjoy, to get something that I hoped would buy me the freedom to work out as much as I wanted whenever I wanted. And so what are the things that I put on the altar of the success? So what are the things that I sacrificed for this god of achievement? And I was like, this one I'm not willing to sacrifice anymore. And so I think part of the reason that has been a lifeboat for me, or a life raft, while this kind of worst season has happened, it's like I've put on 20 pounds of muscle so far this year because I've been able to I've been using that as a really wonderful outlet. And I was like, man, and I'm focusing more on this. My training partner every day, I'm like, dude, thank you for doing this with me. This is awesome. This is great. I've won the day. If I did nothing else, I get to the end of the day and I'm like, I crushed this workout. And that's enough.
It's a big pivot, dude. And it's one that I think everybody that's driven by the sort of hatred of past self, whip yourself into submission, Puritan work ethic thing will inevitably come to realize after a time. There may be some outlier for whom their capacity for discomfort and for sacrifice is literally greater than the duration of their life.
Yeah.
They would have got there eventually. They just died first.
Yeah, which means it sounds like it's a very lonely life then, from his standards. It's hard to tell what he's trying to talk about, if it's loneliness, if it's complexity, if it's whatever it is. You already know it's going to be deep. You already know.
Yeah.
But I think that for most people it's not, and I would call it something like sort of lifestyle escape velocity, where you go, all of the objective metrics are right and the subjective ones aren't, which is a good example of sort of what you've hinted at. And you go, how can I assume that the solution is fixing subjective metric problems with more objective metrics?
And I'll say this for anybody who's in the season where listen, you're 22 years old and you're like, I need to work my face off. You do. You need to work your face off. But the thing is there will get to a point, we're fast forwarding, however many years, but there's nothing, I don't regret the amount of work that I've done.
I my most money in 1 year, not trying to flex on anybody, but I think I made about 14K in one solid year, which, to be honest, as a 21-year-old, that's a lot of fucking money. A shit ton of money, actually. And even in college, I'm still trying to grind, trying to work my way up within whatever industry I'm going to get into. I'm not sure what industry that'll be. I know that, of course, content creation is going to be my main go-to if I need an outlet, which means I'm going to keep on posting, try to post every single day at least, and just continue on doing the things that I want to do, because I'm saying the things that need to be said over and over and over again until they turn into repetition, or until they turn into skills, mentality, or even just a goal-directed mindset. Because if all we are goals, then what's the point of climbing up the ladder of the food chain, or of the chain, whatever it is you're working your way up at? You have to work your way up in one value or the next. If not, your life will be taken for granted, I think. If that makes sense. It's like 12K to 14K around there, but still, it was a lot of dough, a lot of bread. I'm gonna continue on working my ass off and continue on making content every single day, at least. If it's once a day, if it's just a podcast every single day. Just like me reacting to either a podcast, or me doing school content, or just me posting regular shorts on my page just to build a following. I will do that any day of the week. I would rather do that than be bored. Which right now I'm bored, so let's continue back in the video. Sorry for that voice crack. But let's continue, because we're only an hour in and we still have 3 hours left. Sorry, 3 hours and 58 minutes left. But hey, who's keeping track? I ain't. Speaking of that, I thought I already had this video already done. It's the 41 harsh truths. It doesn't log in on my other account, making me do 2 more seconds of work. Bullshit. Oh, he's live right now. That's funny. He's actually live right now. Get your shit done, Amos. Get your shit done. Like ovens, am I totally right? Alright. Where's my videos? Your videos, here we go. Let's see here. It didn't upload? What? Making me waste a video over here, jeez. Save. And upload, you dumbass. Okay, good. Oh, I did do a part 2. Let's see how long it took. So then I can justify where I need to record this.
Like twice a month, it takes 3 hours because we're just like talking between sets.
Okay. I'm at the same point. It might be like 9 minutes, but who really gives a fuck? I couldn't care less. Let's continue on this topic.
I don't regret it at all. And I think that it was absolutely the right decision. And I work a lot now. But
Okay, let me get this straight. I'd rather be fucking busy as shit than not be doing shit at all. That's my main go-to. You have your own go-to, so just stay along for the ride. I couldn't care less.
people make this extrapolated moment. They take a moment of your life and they will extrapolate it to forever and assume that if you change your mind, that what you did before this was wrong. But it wasn't wrong. It was right for that time. And then we got feedback during a different time, and this is right for me now. And so I'm going to course correct now. And if something else changes, guess what? You're free to change your mind tomorrow.
Yeah. I love this. And I think about it so much that one of the issues with asking anybody who's successful for advice is that they tell you what they do now,
Yeah.
not what they did when they were in your position.
1000%.
And you should not ask somebody, how are you maintaining your success right now? How did you achieve your success when you were at the stage that I was at? That is the question that you need to ask. And it's the same thing. Stupid people see somebody changing their mind as a weakness, not as a strength. And if you are the sort of person who goes, this strategy worked for me previously, or didn't, or I thought it worked for me and it didn't.
Okay. Whatever strategy fucking worked, it worked, okay? Just wanted to say that. Just had to say that. Let's continue. I need a hat. My hair's bad.
I'm going to update the way that I operate. Perfect example. I've been on this sort of a flex, similar to yourself. I would say my lifestyle escape velocity, I needed to reach a lower altitude than you. So I was, getting into coast as opposed to still using the booster rockets earlier.
Yeah.
But I started talking about how like purposeful de-optimization, what is it that you're doing the things for, transitioning from the work until your eyes bleed to a different mode of reward and stuff like that. And
for me, I'd rather work till my eyes bleed, because without bleeding out the eyes and the soul, then your story is left to be unsaid, and the opinion of yours is yet to be left unsaid on the field of play, if that makes sense to y'all. Because the way I look at overworking is that without making your eyes sincerely bleed on whatever it is you're truly doing, then you have more left in the tank to say. Hopefully that makes sense to y'all, because it makes total sense to me.
People that I think don't understand me super well, which is fine because no one's supposed to understand you, especially not random people on the internet. But people will see snippets of whatever's been sort of the most salient narrative. And a bunch of them said something to the effect of, bro sold us the problem, now he's selling us the solution.
Yeah.
And
Bro sold us the problem, now he's selling us the solution. Depends on what the problem is and what the solution is. This can be asphyxiated into whatever problem and solution you want to manifest, or you want to say, you want to do, you want to think about. Because each problem and solution has issues, has trade-offs, has problems, has issues within that, over and over again.
That's really interesting, because what I'm doing is saying, this works for me right now. And what I was saying in the past was, this works for me right now. Nothing has changed. And this is why there's often, when it comes to sort of internet advice, it's very patronizing the way that the audience is treated by people that are critics, as if they're sort of these agency-less, undiscerning sponges.
Agency-less, agency-less, undeserving sponges.
Advice. It's very patronizing the way that the audience is treated by people that are critics, as if they're sort of these agency-less, undiscerning sponges that are totally incapable of applying.
Agency-less, undeserving sponges. Oof, that's a good one. Well said, Christopher. Let's get a good round of applause for that one. Agency-less, undeserving sponges. It's like they suck up the undeservingness that people, that the critics say, that just sucks up their opinion and spits it out. It sounds like mocking a sponge, but in a bad way. Because agency-less, undeserving sponges, that hit me deep. So, had to say something about it.
Or filtering, well, Alex doesn't have fucking 5 kids and no wife, right? Like, I'm a single father of...
Oh my god, it just excuses, keep on going. Keep the shit going, because there's just constant excuses coming out of your mouth. Constant excuses over excuses over excuses coming out of his mouth. Who gives a flying crap about other people's opinions? Who give a crap about what they say? Nobody really cares. Nobody really cares until they're on their up. And once they're on their up, nobody can stop them. Nobody can stop you from becoming that better version besides you. So do the thing, do the business, do the idea, do the content, because without it, you will get nowhere within this game of life. Nowhere. I'm gonna try to get something. I'm gonna try to be as famous as Hormozi and Chris. I would love to be on their level, but I'm not on their level. I will be on their level here soon, hopefully. Which is why I'm gonna continue on posting and continue on doing my little thing, my spiel. Because if not, then that means you guys are not meant to watch this video. This is only meant for a person that actually cares about either my shit, what they have to say. Because if you don't care, then why are you watching it? Why are you sticking around to the end of the video? The only reason why you'd stick around is because you enjoy my stuff. You enjoy my opinion. You enjoy what I talk about. You enjoy what I say. And most importantly, you enjoy what they say. Because I look up to these two as immensely as anybody could. I try to ask for their advice, even if they can or cannot hear me. I'd still be like, hey, Chris Williamson, are you out there? And if he says, yes, I'm here, then you can say, oh, okay, well, I wanted to speak a little bit. Can I give you a little rant? And then you respond back to me with, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good that rant was and, like, your opinion. You never know. You never know who could be listening. It could be a different Chris Williamson all the way across the world. You never know. So, there is a doppelganger of every single person. It sounds kind of weird to think about it in that way, but there are doppelgangers. So.
Kid, what are you know, living in Brooklyn in a single bedroom apartment. So, okay, I think you might need to adapt some of the things that he's saying.
Agreed. You need to adapt or die. Okay. Death is a permanent construct of whatever it is you're going through. Permanent. You cannot redo it, retake it, or relive it. It's a permanent construct of what we all go through. Permanent. You cannot take your life back. You have 4,200 weeks. From when you are little to when you are older. That is all that what you is, and that is all that what you are. So, let's continue. Also, every single word for the past 3 minutes has been excuses coming out of Chris's mouth. Solid excuses. Which I do not want to hear that. Nobody wants to hear excuses.
Well, I'm twice as old, or I'm half the age, or whatever. Like, you should ask somebody what they did when they were at the stage that you were at, not where they are now.
So,
Agreed, you should ask the person of what the stage when they were at, when you were at that stage. Because their opinion would mean nothing to you. Because they're already so big, so humongously famous, where they're making money finally. Chris finally started making money after he's been doing it for, I think, 6 years, I think. I don't know. I think it's 6 years. And he just started making money after the 4 years. 2 years. It took. After 4 years, he started making money after the 2 years. Finally. And he was just doing it just because he wanted to do it. For me, I want to do it. I want to make it. I want to be that version. I want to do the things that they say that they're doing. I want to become that better version. Because for my life, I see my life at the end of the tunnel. I see the light at the end of the bridge. Because you can either jump and dive, or you can wait. You make that decision. It's totally up to you, brother. Totally up to you. For me, I'd rather dive. I'd rather be in the water, diving, swimming with the sharks. Because the sharks are hungry and the sharks eat. And without sharks, there'd be no fish. There'd be a lot of fish. If that makes sense to y'all, because I know it does.
things I want to respond to. So, number one, my embedded command to everyone is use if useful. Use if useful.
Use if useful. I like that a lot, because if it is useless, everything has a purpose. Everything has a saying. Everything has a doing. Everything in this life has a fucking purpose, as long as you figure out what you need to do and use it if it is useful to you. If not, chalk it up on the chalkboard and just erase it. You can do that, because skills are refundable. Granted, you can't take back the time that was stated or the time that was done, but you can redo the things that you want to do. You can relive the things you want to relive, as long as it didn't waste so many years of your life.
Number two, this is a documentary, not a sermon. This is
Same here. This is just a documentary about me reacting to this video. I never wanted to make it, but I'm like, fuck it. Let's make another part 3. Let's jump in. Let's see where this can lead. Let's see where this can dive us into. I don't know where this could take us. It could take us down a rabbit hole where it could be something good or something bad. It just depends upon how you look at my content. I think it's all good. All good in the house. I think my content is well worth the watch. That's just what I think.
a showing.
Also, we're only I have to laugh. We're only 5 minutes into this, people, and we still have another hour left. Holy fuck. This is gonna be a long one. Shit. Here we go.
You know, like, at least my content is like, this is me showing what's going on, and I try to be.
Same here. I don't really know what else to say that besides I like to show people how to do it, in my opinion. As long as the opinion matters, which I feel like my opinion has value.
Real?
Not trying to be self-centered and an asshole, but I feel like my opinion has a lot of meaning. Let's continue.
That means that if I change my mind, then it'll change. Third, model the rise if you want the rise. Model the plateau if you want the plateau.
Model the rise and the fall. Because if you don't model the rise, you only model the plateau, then that means that you only get evidence from the plateau and not from the rise, is what he's implying. Which means have a two-factor system. 1, model the rise. Write down right now if you're in a rise or a pitfall. 2, model the pitfall if you want to model the pitfall, because if not, then you will never know what the rise and the fall is in your own words. For me, my rise is recording 1 reaction video podcast a day and uploading it the next day or that day, and then uploading 5 to 10 trial reels about so-called things and see if they give me more subscribers. Because the more content you have out there, the better your weapon is within the field of play. It really truly is.
So saying, oh, you know, Warren Buffett says that he had a great year if he only makes one good decision. It's like saying, oh, to get rich, I should fly private. Doesn't really work that way. I should play basketball if I want to get tall. It's you're conflating variables, right? I should go to the gym once I have energy. I should start saving money once I'm rich. Like that's when I'll do it. It just conflates sequence, right? It's a when-then fallacy.
And when-then never works. It never truly works. Like for me, I haven't posted a video in probably... It's been 2 days. 2 single days. Well, my JP one got 16. Wow. That's impressive, and I didn't even react to that one. The Harsh Truce has 6. This one has 0. That first one has 12K. Or 12. 6 views for 23 lessons from 2023. 11 views for Robert Greene. Let's continue because I want to get at least 30 minutes done with this.
So
call it good.
I think the man, I haven't talked about this in I don't even know if I ever talked about this.
Deadline's in 3 hours, but your brain's doing everything but the work. Your brain's like a toddler in a candy store. Every notification is interesting, every thought urgent. You want to focus, but you can't.
The greatest skill is the ability to discern what things to use and what things to cast out. It is the central narrative of noise versus signal. And the reason that I've spent such a disproportionate amount of time focused on behavior was because there's so much noise that if people cannot translate their quote advice into what I should do, then there's nothing useful about it, which is why I think the density of useful information, I think people are bloodhounds for value, but I think that value gets translated in the most crystallized, distilled, concentrated manner when it can be translated into do this instead of that, period. And everything else, the amorphous words that people use, especially the motivation manifesto, or just manifestation, we'll get into that one. People get triggered on that. That is what leads more people astray. And so they take the entirety of someone and without all of the other conditions that apply to that person and say, oh, I will take this and apply it to my life. Mm-hmm. And if you cannot pull out what is useful for you, you will never win. And that is a really strong statement. But because all you're going to be doing...
What he's implying is that if you do not take the information that you learn from that video, you will not win, or you will lose all that knowledge of that video, is what he's implying as. So win, all the way win. If not, there's no point for you to watch that video. Yeah.
Trying to, and I love, this is my favorite tweet that I've heard from Andrew Wilkinson from Tiny. Here are the numbers for my winning lottery ticket. Every entrepreneur explaining how they were successful. And so like, the next Google isn't a certain...
For me, my successful is making my content makeable so it actually makes sense in my personal opinion, so then people can actually watch it. If not, there is no point for them to watch it.
Right? The best version of your life isn't copying Hormozi or copying Williamson. It's being able to, with nuance, apply the principles that are...
Apply the content to your life, because if not, there's no point, like I said, to watch that video. Which means you are only watching this video because you are interested in the 41 harsh truths that nobody wants to admit by Alex Hormozi. And this is a part 3. I have not done any other part 3s or part 2s in a long time. And this is just because I'm like, you know what? Let's see what this one is. I'm on part 3, so let's get the ball rolling.
Generalizable across domains, but then having the wherewithal, the discernment to apply the nuance to your specific circumstance.
I'll be right back. And you go to the bathroom. I'm just going to keep on playing it.
Being able to map those two things, I think, is the skill that has got me the disproportionate return on my life. I have bought, and I've been public about this, I've been, the earlier part of my career is very involved in what I would consider the alternative education, space, right? People, the courses, the world that has, I would say, a relatively bad reputation. But I have yet in my life to have purchased anything from anyone that I have not had an exceptional return from. And is that because of them or is that because of me? Who knows? But I can say that when I even had bad experiences, I could say, these are all the things that I will not do to a customer. And then I have my notebook of the crinkled can and the end that's off the center. And that ability to observe and pause before immediately taking action. Like there are some people that I have met where I know, I'll tell you this story because it's heartbreaking. I've helped a lot of gyms in my career as probably my second season of entrepreneurship. One of the things that we'll do to a gym to make it more profitable is we adjust pricing. Sometimes we send a price raise letter, and this thing's tested. We've done it hundreds of times. A guy, reaches out and said, "Hey, I did the whole price raise, and 90% of my members left." And I was like, "What? What happened?" And so he explained that he had a $29 a month gym, and then he raised it to $200 a month. That only works when you're a service business, not what I consider a facility usage business, where you're just like $10 a month crunch, and it's just like you can use the gym whenever you want. You have equipment. My model was for people who had trainers and who were teaching, classes or sessions or semi-privates. And so in those instances, if you're at 99 and you go to $200, you're not going to lose half your customers. You might lose a third, but you still make more money, have more profit, et cetera. But he had taken what is otherwise something that has made so many gyms profitable and successful, and he applied it to a specific context. Now he says, I'm a gym owner. He said gym stuff. But then what happens is, for you and I, or anybody who wants to make content, if I were to say, okay, under these situations, under this particular context, if you have a decent relationship with your customers and you have ongoing communication, then you can say, it's like, you don't need, it takes 10 minutes of disclaimers to get to the point, right? And so then this is why fundamentally, winners will always win, because they will still be able to find the silver lining even in the terrible experiences that will make them better. And my favorite visualization of the type of person that I want to be is, and this is a Harry Potter reference, but the sword of Gryffindor was made of dwarven steel, and dwarven steel in the mythology of Harry Potter could only take in that which made it stronger. And so it's not to say that the sword of Gryffindor couldn't cut butter or couldn't, just get into a sword fight. But if it happens to, kill a basilisk, then it will absorb the poison of the basilisk. And so so many people lose because they want to prove that this too did not work, when in reality it was that you don't know how to make it work. And it has been easier for you to complain and say, this did not work the way that I would prefer, right? Rather than how can I make this work for me? How can I turn this into something that can still be a W? And I think that one skill has probably been the single unlock that I've been able to have, because I learned these alternative, this alternative world of education of how do you sell? How do you run ads? How do you sell, courses? How do you do coaching? All this stuff that has a really negative kind of vibe. But the thing is the fundamentals of persuasion there are so powerful. They were just being used to sell stuff that's not good. But the thing is that there's so much buyer resistance there that if you can sell stuff in that market, when you go to sell insurance, you murder. And so I think
on February 27th, Scream for the first time in IMAX.
I'm gonna make your whole family suffer. Where is my daughter?
Scream, only in theaters February 27th.
Imagine your best employee is stuck doing admin tasks, paperwork, answering phones from upset customers. What would you do? You'd probably delegate those tasks to someone else so they could focus on the highest leverage things, right? People fail to take into consideration the context of the person who's giving the advice and what piece is useful that they should use.
Agreed, because people waste their time with whatever context or information they're trying to get. Just for a certain so-called persona, person, or whatever, because the context is blindsided by the fact of whatever that context is. They're not understanding the full side of the story because they don't even understand it themselves, which means you have to fully understand the full context, because if you don't know the full context, then they won't know the whole entire story and they won't know the whole entire part of the advice, if that makes sense.
And the rest you can cast away.
Figure out what you want. Ignore the opinions of others. Do so much work, it would be unreasonable that you fail. Realize it never mattered to begin with. Help others once you get there. You've already achieved the things you said would make you successful.
Just that ending was beautiful. You have already achieved things that you already thought that would make you successful. Work until your eyes bleed. Work until your heart dies out or your eyes want to just start crying because you don't know what else to truly say, because you are fully afraid of either their full opinion or just whatever it is you're truly going through, because you don't know what they're going through until the hardness casts a shadow upon that growth of whatever you're doing. Because without the shadow, there is no shadow of a doubt that you'll become that better version of yourself. You never know until you truly do it.
Yeah, the first 5 steps there is is basically my master life plan. Figure out what you want,
Figure out what you want, know the opinions of others. If it's criticism, if it's their opinion, they don't know the true start of why you did it. For me, I'm doing it because I love talking. I love making this kind of content. I love doing this because I want to make a life out of this. If I could, I would. Which is why I'm going to continually on doing it and doing it and doing it until I make money off of it. Which is why I have my school page, and that's why I'm going to be posting one school video either a day or every other day. Because I have a lot of content on school. I'll show you guys my content on school right now. So here's my page. I have all this, so 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 39, 42, 45, 48, 51, 54, 55 things of content. And I'm just gonna keep on adding more and more and more and more. Like, your life is already structured. You don't get to choose the structure. Most people think that they're undisciplined. They're not. They're living inside structure that never consciously designed. Every life runs on a system. And that's just all of it. The quiet power repetition. Why small business structure beats big ambition. Identified by is by a product, not a starting point. The real function is of discipline. Why motivation fails under pressure. Structure is not restraint. It's relief. Just so on and so forth. Like the myth of I'll lock in eventually. Alright, let's continue the YouTube video. But yeah, I didn't realize I have that amount of content on school. I'm going to continue on doing it. I'm going to do 2 school posts a day. Record a podcast every single day. And record a school every single day. If not, I'll try to do shorts. About 5 to 10 is my main target.
My first boss, I had a pretty terrible first out of college experience of work. But from that, I learned some of the most important life lessons that I still take to this day. And that boss particularly said one thing to me one day. She said, figuring out what you want is 99% of it. She said, once you know what you want, getting it's the easy part.
Agreed. Getting it is the easy part. For me, I want to have a motovlogging video or a motovlogging YouTube channel, which I will do it once I get a bike and once I am down in Florida, which as of right now, after I graduate, I'm not going to waste my money. I'm going to save it. And then once I get down to Florida, I'm going to try to get a jet ski and a motorcycle all at once. Motorcycle comes first, then comes jet ski. And I'll make motovlog content, y'all, and then I'll make jet ski content. So, I get an instant 360 if it's waterproof. So, yeah, let's continue.
And I kind of adopted that as a worldview, because it's like, once you're really clear, like, this is what I want, then everything that's not that is what I'm willing to give up to get it. Now, that thing can change. And I think that's the part that people miss, is that, like, once you learn how to get stuff, then it's like, okay, well, he said he was willing to do, it's like, yeah, well, the thing I wanted changed. Do I have your permission to change what I want?
You don't need their permission, first of all, and second of all, fuck their opinion. Seriously, if you really don't care, don't care. Don't do it. Don't put your marbles in the basket where they should be left in the dust, if that makes sense.
I think we should all have permission to change what we want in any given moment, and not having basically sunk life bias of like, I put 10 years into this thing, and that's okay, and that's what I needed to do at that time, and today I'm going to change everything. And what's really interesting about, if you look at like addicts and alcohol, people who need to, quit, whatever bad habit they have, there's a really strong frame, Ed Milet talks about it, which is basically one more. And it's been super helpful for me to not think of my changes as permanent, because it's allowed me to make such dramatic changes in my life or my business much faster than I think most people have been willing to. Because there's this weight of forever on top of everything. Like, we extrapolate, like, you're in a relationship. She told me to pick up my socks. She's going to nag at me forever the rest of my life. We need to break up, right? Or I can do this for today, and tomorrow, if it still works, I will do it for tomorrow. And if 5 days from now or 25 days from now, if I work this way, I then say, you know what, I need a day. People are like, oh, he's burned out. It's like, I took a day. Because that's...
Yeah, taking a day matters. Like, for me, I haven't posted in... I'm not sure the last time I posted at school, but on YouTube, however many days ago I said. It's been 2 days since I posted. Which, after that, I'm actually just going to call it quits. I'll see you guys in the next one, and this is part 3. Peace.